Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. Hello, Boring Review Nation! Gabe!
Nick, you got the right direction even though we switched on you. I love it.
And we are here today for another, I was going to say installment of Cricket Tuesday, but by the way, what are we doing today? What am I doing myself?
It's been too long since we've had Gabe on Boring Reviews. I promise. It's not my fault. You know, his suspension for 30 days ended, okay? And, you know, we're very equitable. I'm just kidding. It's been a long time, Gabe. It's good to have you back on Boring Reviews. Appreciate it. And we're going to check out another reaction here. What are we reacting to today, Gabe?
We are going to be checking out Indians from 1967 talk about the future, right? Talk about the future. And I think that this is, I just did a project actually. And, you know, part of the reason I haven't been on Boring Reviews, guys, those of you that follow on CFA and follow me on Twitter know my son just graduated high school. He's on his way to college. My daughter just had a Sweet 16. Like, it's been busy for us. Plus, it's the end of the school year. And with the end of the school year, grades, all kinds of stuff going on, like, I've been super, super busy. But one of the things I did, Nick, one of the projects I did with my kids was a time capsule. And I had them write themselves, their future selves, a letter, and then either take a picture of something of importance from this decade right now, from this time. And really, really simple. We put it in an envelope or whatnot. It's sealed up. I'm going to go ahead and send that off to their parents, you know, via mail, and have their parents keep it for them. And it says, do not open until high school graduation, to see how they change and if they made the correct predictions of what was going to happen over the next few years.
Don't lose it.
You know, yeah. Well, hopefully they don't lose it. You know, I mean, back in the day, the idea was to have a time capsule and like dig it in the ground. We live in Vegas, man. We ain't actually gonna dig no time capsule in the ground. But
no way.
Yeah, this ground is way too hard. But like just thinking about the predicting the future, what's gonna happen. It's cool to see if they were right. I know that people thought that by the year 2020 we'd have flying cars. We don't. We do have electric vehicles, though. Just saying. And just the way technology has evolved, the way the world has evolved, the way things have changed. I couldn't have predicted some of the stuff, you know, 20 years ago. That even in, you know, early 2000, you know, in the middle when the clock turned 2000, that would have been happening today. Obviously, nobody could have predicted, you know, the pandemic and things of that nature. But what was your first thought when you checked out this video, Nick?
Well, this is a request from, try to get this right. Oh, of course I had it there. This is a request from one of our viewers, Knit DLP. And we appreciate the request. That's how we run on Boring Reviews. If you have requests, go ahead and get those in. We appreciate it. And it's interesting where you're talking about people who are, you know, kind of maybe not on purpose predicting the future, but are able to get it kind of spot on. There's a Simpsons episode that came out in the early 2000s where they went into the future and Donald Trump was president. I mean, you can't make this kind of stuff up. It's crazy, right? But I guess with this video, it's really interesting because I believe they found 20 people in 1967 who were 20 years old, who were born, I think, on the day that India gained its freedom, its independence from England and all that kind of stuff, if I'm not mistaken. And so they kind of interview them and they ask them, like, what are your thoughts about India? Where do you think it's going? Or where do you think your life is right now? And I'm assuming that they talk a little bit about the future. So I'm really excited about this kind of stuff because I love looking at things from the blast of the past. I watched this one random video on YouTube with this guy in like 1987, took a camcorder to school and just recorded his day at school. Nothing exciting happened, but it was cool just to see like the fashion trends and this and that. And, you know, did Stranger Things get it right and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff interests me. So I'm excited to check this out. Once again, I appreciate the request. If you're excited for our reaction, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know what else you want us to check out. You know, Gabe and I, we love all types of stuff. And even if you got a video from something that's not in India, we want to check it out if you think it's worth checking out. But with all that being said, you ready for this?
Always.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and check this out in 3, 2, 1.
आज़ादी का मतलब है स्वतंत्रता, अपने आप को आज़ाद रखना, किसी के अधीन नहीं रखना। हम जो काम कर सकें अपनी मर्जी से कर सकते हैं।
একটা স্বাধীনতা আছে আমার মনে হয় যেটা সত্যি স্বাধীনতা, সেটা হলো মনের স্বাধীনতা। I'm an Indian and India means everything to me. I'm a part and parcel of India. India is a part of my life. I don't have any love for the country. Really? And just I don't want to show up like other people that I got a love for the country. Whom shall I tell? Suppose I got a love. Whom shall I tell that I got a love? Shall I go on the streets and tell everybody, oh, I got a love
This
for
kid's
my country?
honest. He's got no. I think what he probably means is he's not super patriotic. Jeez Louise.
One thing I would like to do very much is to go through this country, top to bottom. I take a little bit of money and a pad and paper, a tape recorder and a camera, and I'd like to go to through this country, walking at a very leisurely pace, seeing all kinds of people, different races and different cultures.
So these guys are like in their 70s
their
now.
different moods, their songs and their dances.
You gotta talk to them now.
The cacophony of their multifarious tongues. I like to get their agony, the anguish and the anger, the fertile soil, the parched earth, everything, so that one day when I could come back, I could open the book and remind myself of what I'm
Sound
part
like a
of,
journalist.
what is part of me.
15th August 1947. Well, it means a lot. First of all, it's my birthday, of course, and it's one of the greatest days for India.
I think of India when I see the long queues, people waiting patiently for buses, for ration. I think of India when I see people hanging on the local trains.
My needs, of course they're more. I have more money to buy things. I see more things in the market, so I buy them.
हमें 2 चादरें चाहिए और 2-3 कमीजें हों और एक आधा कमीज या चादर आने जाने के लिए.
I like to wear nice clothes, but you know what has happened? I don't get money to buy them.
मुझे ये मालूम होता है कि हम एक जोड़ी बैलों के साथ जमीन को अच्छी तरह नहीं खोद सकते. इसको खोदने के लिए तो अच्छी मशीनें या ट्रैक्टर होने चाहिए.
When I feel that foreign blades are more economical than our Indian blades, why shouldn't I go and use them? Because I save my money. Because I very strongly believe that they serve the much better purpose and are more economical.
Efficiency.
You know, terribly difficult to get admission. But I don't understand really, there being so many colleges, there are so many who just waste a year or two because they don't get a seat into a college. If you don't get admission into a college and you just ask them how much extra would you take, you know, you're sure of getting a seat the next minute.
No, I've never ever bribed for a seat in a college or a school. Actually, I feel that this question of bribing is resorted to only by the below the average students.
क्या है कि आजकल टेक्निकल एजुकेशन
Wow,
फ्री
that's
है.
interesting.
हर मैट्रिक या हर सेकेंडरी स्टूडेंट बहुत आसानी से टेक्निकल एजुकेशन हासिल कर सकता है और इसके बाद एक अच्छा मैकेनिक बन सकता है और अपनी रोजी कमा सकता है.
स्कूल गए पढ़ने के लिए? पढ़ने नहीं गए. हिंदुस्तान के राष्ट्रपति कौन है मालूम है? पता नहीं है. प्रधानमंत्री का नाम जानते हैं? मालूम नहीं है. अपने मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री के बारे में जानते हैं? नहीं मालूम. उज्जैन के कलेक्टर साहब को जानते हैं?
हमारे गांव में तो स्कूल है प्राइमरी और गांव के साथ मिडिल स्कूल है.
Well, I would say I'm better off than my father was in almost every respect. In terms of educational opportunities, at least I don't have to work in a mill in the morning to pay for my education in the evening.
Well, my ambition is to reach the highest rank which my service can provide. At the moment, of course, it's confined to just being a full general. But by the time I go high up, and if there's a rank of a field marshal, I would like to be the first
I
one.
love it.
Well, my ambition is to be a great scientist. As you know, I'm working on meteorites and these things which fall from outer space, we don't know much about them. I want to do something very original about them and maybe get my name in textbooks.
High hopes.
For some
Love
people, security is a warm blanket. For me, security is a government job. I would like to join the IAS. I would like to sit in a comfortable chair, in an air-conditioned room, sign a couple of files here and there, write my comments in the margin, drink cups of coffee, attend meeting, and just sort of be a cog in the machine. What more do you want me to do?
मैं एक सरकारी नौकरी देखूंगा. अगर सरकारी नौकरी ना भी मिली तो मैं आर्मी में चला जाऊंगा.
My ambition is to command a bomber squadron in the operational areas, and later on I'd like to go on to testing aircraft. You know what I mean?
Maverick?
I'd like to become a test pilot.
वैसे जी मैं एक अच्छे किस्म का फैक्ट्री फीडर बनना चाहता हूँ.
Well, my ambition in life is to glorify myself.
I want to go in film line.
Yes.
Film line. I want to produce one picture. You know, I got a story also from my own life.
But you have enough money? I will make money, no, see, I'll try my best now. I'll save money now. Somewhere on racing.
देखिए हीरोइन बनना तो मैं अच्छा समझती हूँ, नहीं ऐसा नहीं, लेकिन मेरे लिए वो बात नहीं है, मैं नहीं बन सकूँ.
Can't be one. Wow.
Progress. Of course we made progress. The sort of progress you show us in your documentary films. But after all, a child would grow, even if it didn't have the sufficient nourishment. Well, I feel happy when I see the big industries of India. At the same time, I feel unhappy when I see that all these industries are being built at the cost of agriculture. I feel very happy when I see all these fertilizers being made in the factories. Well, they mean that we have progressed a great deal, that we'll have more food because there'll be more land irrigated, that we'll have more industries because there'll be more electricity. It also means there'll be more employment, more production, more happiness.
When we compare ourselves to countries like Germany and Japan, we have made no progress at all.
I've been to a village in Saurashtra some 3 years back, and I saw a very happy life. I saw that there was an ST bus coming to that village, there were roads, there was a Gram Panchayat radio, there was a windmill in that village. It was all very good. Then a year later, I went to an Adivasi area in Gujarat again, and I saw that the people had not even heard of a plane or a train. And I felt that this was not progress.
This kid's seen a lot in a short time.
We make rather good aircraft as well. Gnats and vampires. Well, don't ask me, you can go somewhere else.
When mother is in danger, they do abortion. And at that time, they call it apadharma. But when the country population is growing like hell, and country is going to dogs, they don't understand that it is also a kind of apadharma to save the country.
हम घर में 13 मर्द, हमारी मजदूरी पूर्ति नहीं है साहब. 9 भाई बहन, एक 2 भाई इतना बड़ा, एक भाई इतना बड़ा, एक भाई इतना बड़ा, एक भाई इतना बड़ा, एक बहन इतनी बड़ी, एक बहन इतनी बड़ी, एक बहन गोदी में.
Well, let me put it this way. I would say our achievement is that we have a hopeful tomorrow. Our failure is that our today is very precarious. But if a country can industrialize itself so well in 15 years, I'm sure that we can lick the problem of agriculture also in the next 15 years.
What do you want me to do for the country? I think I do enough by being an honest citizen. By doing my job to the best of my ability, by working 8 hours a day.
I love her voice.
By not complaining much about the rations, about the unavailability of sugar.
No, I don't get to see ration queue. I can't see ration queue when I'm standing in bus queue for a whole day. How can I go in ration queue?
Well, I don't know. It seems to be the fashion today to denigrate the country, and when two people meet, they get into a sort of a competition about who can abuse the government better. दूसरे लड़कों की तरह कोई कुछ खाता पीता है, मैं ये कुछ नहीं खाता पीता, सिर्फ फिल्म में देखता हूँ.
Well, I debate. I take part in dramatics. I like literature. তা অনেক কিছুই করতে চাই. French পড়তে চাই, German পড়তে চাই, Russian
She's
পড়তে
linguist.
চাই. সে কখনো সময় পাই না, কখনো উপায় পাই না.
Well, first and foremost is dancing. I like Indian dancing, and I'm learning Bharatnatyam at the moment.
And then at times I like to hear ghazals. Talking about ghazals, I like Begum Akhtar.
I play tennis myself, and I think the Indian tennis players have got a lot of hope. Well, my proudest moment was when we qualified for the Davis Cup finals, and our chaps, Lal, Krishnan and Mukherjee, they did wonderfully well.
Probably you must not have heard the Indian whom I really admire, but it happens to be Zubin Mehta, the Indian conductor, who's, I should say, the only Indian conductor.
I admire that man, Mihir Singh. Not only because he is a wonderful swimmer, besides what he has done sounds almost fantastic. Swimming the 7 straits is not a joke. And I would like to be another Mihir Singh if I can help it.
It's not a joke.
Pataudy. কিন্তু আসলে যখন পটৌডি একটা সেঞ্চুরি করে তখন আমার মনে হয় না যে আমি একটা কিছু করেছি। আমার মনে হয় যদি আমি একটা সেঞ্চুরি করি তাহলে আমার সুখ হয়, আমার শান্তি হয়। My favorite director happens to be Satyajit Ray. For obvious reasons, he has the gift of capturing the things in a realistic way, and that's why he's being acclaimed all over.
हिंदुस्तान का भविष्य तो वैसा आज मैं कैसे बता सकूंगी?
I don't think there's any future left for us. We have got only a big past to boast of.
As Kennedy
Jeez.
put it, I think it's a question of not what the country can do for you as much as what you can do for the country. Of course, frustration is in fashion today. But I think deep within every Indian, despite all this frustration, we are underestimating him. He has a capacity to work. If all the people in this country who didn't fancy their prospects in it were allowed to quit, I think I'll stay. Because it's something big. It's a huge experiment. And I would like
I
to
like
be
the
part of it.
attitude. It's an awesome
I
attitude.
love this kid. I love this kid.
Yeah. So 1947. You know what I had not considered until we were watching this video. I mean, India was around before the British took it, right? So it's not exactly the same as America when its freedom in 1776, not officially until 1781. It's not exactly the same thing, but we consider ourselves a new country. Once they got rid of British rule in 1947, they're relatively a new country since that time. And it's kind of crazy because they have turned into a world power, right? In a lot of different ways, whether it's military, whether it's space exploration, whether it's agriculture, whether it's the arts and film and all that kind of stuff. India has really had, in my opinion, overall, it's really catapulted itself. And you watch a video like this and you hear the kids say, I don't think we really have too much future. We just have a past to boast of. I'm assuming he's referring to the past before British rule, right? Where India's been around since, the beginning of time, and they have all these different things to boast of. But there's a lot of things to boast of just in recent modern day, the last 20 years, if not the last 70, 80 years. But you watch this video and I think to myself, man, so many bright kids with heads on their shoulders. And then you have other simple people, right? 20-year-old. The girl's like, I don't want to be a heroine. What do you want me to say? Like, she's living just a very simple life and she's content with it at that point. You got the one guy talking about he wants to go all over the country. He wants to chronicle and find out about what makes the Indian person, and then kind of relax and watch that. That would have been a great book if he was able to do that. It's amazing. 1967, right? The last thing I want to say about this, and I want to hear your thoughts, is you think about the new generation today, the millennials, right? And you kind of like roll your eyes and like, oh man, they're not the same we were. I can kind of see some of the millennial mindset in these 1967 20-year-olds, right? My dad struggled. I'm not going to struggle. I want to have nice things. I want to be the very first field marshal, all this kind of stuff. They have hopes and dreams. It's not a brand new thing that today's youth has invented. And it's pretty cool to see that, we're not really so different generationally as the 1967 generation was. I found that pretty remarkable.
That is a very, 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 shrewd observation by you. Because one of the things I was thinking about was when I was listening, the contrast of seeing he's like, it's popular now. It's very fashionable to just denigrate the government and denigrate the country, for some. And you think about it now, like you see so many people here in America. Let's not even talk about India for a minute, but let's talk about America. So many Americans that are unhappy, and of course, there's a lot of stuff going on. But at the same time, we have to see how far we have come, the progress we have made. And it's funny where some people say we've made no progress, other people say we've made tons of progress. And the mindset, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Nick, you know what I mean? I remember recently having a conversation with my mom because, of course, I got a teenage son who is very headstrong. And she reminded me I wasn't much different than he was growing up. Okay. I may think I was, but I'm not, you know what I mean? We're not. And it goes back to us thinking, for instance, and I say this all the time to them, guys, your music sucks. All right. Rap music is terrible today. Like our 90s music was the best. Well, I'm sure that, the 80s thought that they were best and the 70s thought they were best. And every generation thinks theirs is the best. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. They will also go on to then when things change, not necessarily accept that change or embrace that change. And it's just, bro, watching this video, this was amazing. Like such an interesting to take that blast from the past. It was way different than I thought it was going to be. But see their thoughts and see this young generation. Like you said, that one man was so well spoken, so intelligent, and so articulate with his thoughts. And man, dude, I love this video. I'd like to see, like you said, they should do a follow-up. Follow these same people today.
That would be
That would
awesome.
be an amazing video to see where they're at and see how some people, I guarantee you, some of the people, here's my predictions for that video. The people that were optimistic back then will still be optimistic. See, we did make a whole bunch of progress. To your point, India has become a world power. India, one of the things that's funny that they didn't really mention. I thought that they were all going to talk about that as their heroes, but look, cricket only came up one time when they're talking about heroes, right? Because it wasn't that big back then as it is today. But those people will still have that positive outlook, and those people that still have that pessimistic view that the country's horrible, that the government is horrible, and what do you want me to do for the country? What do you want me to do? Like those people will still have that same view, because ultimately we are who we are. You know what I mean, Nick? And fundamentally, it's very hard for a person to change oneself unless you really really work at it. And that self-improvement is one of the most difficult things to do, because before you can improve yourself, you got to realize or recognize there's something wrong there. But man, great suggestion. Thank you so much for the request. And man, I love this video. You know what? I want to see if there was an American one like this. See what Americans back in 47 or 1967
1967, yeah.
thought about the future of America, and then see how closely aligned it is to what people are today. I guarantee you, Nick, this is not going to be a lot of difference. You'll see the same thing you saw in this video, which is the same thing you see today. You're going to have those optimistic people. You're going to have those pessimistic people. You're going to have those people that are, inspirational when they speak, and those people that are almost like detrimental. Every word that comes out of their mouth is just like, just negative and vile almost. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, it was.
I think one more observation I make is just like, not in every situation, but a lot of times you are the product of your environment. And you had different people that had simple dreams. And it looked just from like, the location they're being asked or this or that they may have had more simple lifestyles. Like the one guy is like, I just need like 2 shirts and what did he say? Something else, and like a pair of clothes or 2 jackets, and we're good. And to travel or whatever. But the most interesting thing that I really want to know is from the guy who said he spoke very eloquently. He seemed like he was educated, all that kind of stuff. But his dream was just to have an office job. I mean, that was his dream, like just to be a cog in the machine. And for me, I worked at an office job for a few months before I got hired as a teacher in the limbo stage because the district wasn't hiring at that time. It was the most boring few months of my life. And it was easy. I mean, Gabe, when I tell you I got my day's work done in an hour and no one asked anything else of me the rest of the day, it drove me nuts. I was so bored. But that was like his dream. I would love to know, like, did that stay your dream? Did you retire and you're just the happiest guy in the world? Or did you live that life for 10 years and say, no, I want something else because this is driving me nuts?
Here's the thing. I understood exactly where he was coming from. Not me personally, but I know people like this. And what he's saying is, I don't need to be great. I don't need to be like this other guy that says, I want my name in the history textbooks. He's just saying, I want to be a part of the cog, because honestly, that's where security lies. That's where safety lies. You work a government job, that's security, right? The government is going to be around for a while. I don't have to worry about my next meal. I don't got to worry about my family's future. I'm going to make enough to survive and to provide for my family. So there are those people that's not that dare to be great attitude. It's that dare to blend in attitude. And you'll be shocked, Nick. There's more people in the middle there that are just okay, perfectly content.
I'm not saying there's not, but just like at that age, you're so hopeful, you're so this or that. You don't meet too many 20-year-olds that are just like, I just want an office job. I just want to be, one of the people and just drink my coffee and maybe go to a few meetings like that. That really surprised me. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your dreams are today. Let us know how you're different than some of these that were interviewed. I think it was 20 people in 1967. Let us know your thoughts. Give us your requests. Thanks for watching this. And until next time.
We know all things.